I'm doing this live again today. This is inside my studio. You can kind of see my equipment in the back there. So last night I did a presentation at a local meetup. It was about getting started with functional programming. Good reception. I was not the only presentation. I went last, which I think might have helped, but a lot of people came up and were like, wow, that was really helpful. I think I'm onto something with this functional programming thing where I'm kind of aggressively saying functional programming is more intuitive than object-oriented programming. Maybe too aggressively, I'm not sure. But I'm also trying to make it like you don't have to just like install immutable JS and only use Lambda and stuff like that, which is what a lot of people are saying. And someone had a good question about TypeScript, whether TypeScript's types help you do functional programming. And one person who had experience with TypeScript said no. TypeScript does not help you do functional programming, which is a good thing to know, right? Like it's not like I was thinking maybe it does, but I didn't know, and so I'm glad he chimed in with the right answer. Um, so anyway, it was a good reception. So I'm happy that people liked it, but I didn't feel good about the presentation myself. I had some slide fails. I got kind of lost in my own slides, and I was kind of like, oh, are these even finished? Like, did I make these slides like near the end? I made some slides and I didn't really finish them so that I could present them, but they were still in the stream. And it just felt like I don't think I need this slide now. Um, and that's a bad place to be. And I'll tell you what it is I was doing them that afternoon, and then it was time to go, and I was with my daughter, and so kind of distracted, and so I need to avoid that. Um, I have no idea uh, how to solve that permanently, but I guess it means like have my slides ready the day before so that the day of I can just be rehearsing. Maybe have simpler slides. I don't know. But then also, the other two presenters had such awesome slide designs. And of course, they were more polished. At least one of them was more polished. Because he had given that talk before, and this was just like a short version of it. But I don't just mean like the designs were awesome, which they were, like in terms of like color scheme and the fonts and just the way they slid in and out. Those little things you think the content is what matters, but they are part of the content. And if your slides are more engaging and so like what I do is just the standard keynote slides, except then I customize the font and stuff like that. So it's just like black text on a white background, which is really great for readability. But then, if I have 3 bullet points, it's like 1, 2, 3, and then a bunch of white space at the bottom. Totally wasted space. Why aren't those 3 points filling the whole slide? Things like that, which I haven't really thought that much about like what I want my slides to look like. So I'm thinking like, is there some? I don't want to sit there and tweak this. Like, I'm not a great designer. It doesn't give me pleasure to like do iteration after iteration and get it perfect. I want something done, and I want it. You know, I just want it done, and so I'm very like goal oriented in that sense, and for that specific thing, for like getting a design done, I just want it done. So I would it would it's the perfect thing where, um, I was using Keynote because it made them pretty good, as opposed to other slide software where it gives you so many options. Sure, you could make them better, but um, it was just like always done for you. But now I'm like, I think I need someone to like maybe design me a template, a keynote template, something like that. Someone suggested I do this like React framework, but I'm afraid to do that stuff because then it's giving me the option to do code. And then I'm gonna like run them wild with like adding cool code stuff to it, and I don't want that. I just want someone to like design a really unique looking deck with default animations and just make it mine. Like it doesn't look like I just used the ones that came with it. And that also gives me those options that I'm talking about, like where you know, you got three bullet points, but they don't fill the whole screen. Like that looks like crap. Um, yeah. Also, he had some cool diagrams, and they were, just boxes and arrows, but the way they popped and the way they kind of filled the whole screen, and it just made it special somehow. Um, and I like diagrams, so it might just be that it has to that kind of diagram will take time to make, and I just did this presentation in the morning and then a little bit in the afternoon. So anyway, if I'm gonna be like a professional speaker, like I just think that's an area I could improve on. Um, what else? Yeah, so like I was saying yesterday, yesterday when I did the vlog, I was about to pick up my daughter, and actually like at the end I had to say bye because she was walking up to me. So since then I haven't had much time to do anything because today's a day off for her. So she had a friend over. So basically what I'm trying to do now is like tie up some loose ends on Closure Sync. No one's answering my phone calls. I don't know why. So I'm leaving messages and not getting an answer. So I have to call again. And I'm thinking I'm thinking about having coffee and or no coffee or and maybe food at for lunch at the conference. Um, when I had no when I wasn't breaking even, it was like that's a big expense. Now that I'm past breaking even, if I can, I mean, I know some people who have like a coffee roastery and they have a coffee shop and they could probably handle the quantity. And I'd love to help them out. It's a local business. Um, I'd love to do something like that um, for coffee. Uh, Mostly like so okay, so my idea with coffee is kind of unique. I think I haven't talked to anybody, like whenever I say it people are like, huh, I never thought about it like that. Okay, so I didn't want to have coffee at first, mostly because of the expense. Because when you have coffee, you can't just have coffee, you got to have hot water and tea. And then some people just want like a a soda, right? They just want a cold drink, or just like a bubbly water, something nice for them. And so, what seems like, oh, just brew like 20 gallons of coffee becomes, we need a whole setup, and we need to have enough of everything because you never know who's gonna get what, and so that's what you're really paying for. Like coffee is cheap, right? But then you don't want to buy all that yourself. Like you put out, a six pack of this, a six pack of that, six pack of that. Someone's gonna drink one of each, so you're gonna have 5 packs of everything left. And what do you do with all? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for managing all of that, which is fine. It's just your it costs a lot of money compared to the actual cost of the drink. So just as an example, if someone went to a Starbucks or something and bought even one of the bigger drip coffees, it would be a few dollars. Whereas that same cup of coffee in this setup where someone is managing all of this stuff, it could be like $10 when you get down to it, because you're not paying per cup, you're paying for it just to be there. Okay, so with that in mind, and it's not like, so you need to have this big setup, so it adds a per person cost to the conference, which means that, um, and so you have to have, if you don't sell the ticket, you're still paying for the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a per person cost, but in the potential person, the potential attendee that you're paying for. Okay, so one of the things I've been thinking is like, one of the reasons you have to have coffee at most conferences is because they're on like the 13th floor or the 14th floor of a hotel, and you only have 10 minutes between talks, and so you don't have time to like wait for the elevator, go downstairs, go outside, find a coffee shop, come back, go back up the elevator before the next talk. That's one of the main reasons that you need to have coffee. People are going to want coffee, and you don't want them to leave. But I kind of want people to leave. I don't want them to miss the talk, but I want them to encounter the real life. Like, I chose the location specifically to be a place to be, right? I've been to so many conferences where it's at a big hotel and it's 4 or 5 blocks from a cool place, but there's nothing. Once you leave the hotel, there's nothing interesting there. Like, you can see the interesting thing from the 14th floor, but right there at the entrance of the hotel, there's nothing else. So I chose this place because it's right on Jackson Square. It's right in the middle of the best place in New Orleans, right? The most cultureful French Quarter experience. And it's on the ground floor. And there were 3 coffee shops, one of them closed, but there are 2 coffee shops like within eyesight of the door. So you can walk across the street and get a nice third wave espresso if that's what you're into, or you can go around the corner and get a standard, it's not Starbucks, but it's that kind of style espresso bar where, you just get a paper cup of drip coffee and you encounter the city just a little bit more. And so that's been my idea, that it's like, yes, I'm being cheap about this coffee, but there's also this deeper thing that, like, you don't go to a conference for the coffee, right? You go for an experience. And so if I can just say, like, sorry, there's no coffee, just go around the corner and have someone, experience the architecture and the weather and other people around. And maybe there's like a jazz band playing on the street. Those kinds of things. Like, that's what I'm trying to encourage. Same reason I don't have lunch. It's like, walk 10 minutes. There's like a great place right over here. That's the idea. And if you just had lunch served there, people will get used to being in a bubble, and they will be a little bit, I think the experience will be diminished. Man, now that I say it, I'm like, I don't want coffee. I don't want coffee. The thing is, I don't want to come off as cheap. People paying $400 for a ticket, they might feel like it's cheap. But also, I mean, I've been to those conferences and I know that, like, that's the least thing I'm worried about when I'm at the conference, is like the cost of a coffee that I had to pay for myself, you know? I should ask I don't know who to ask. Because if I ask the attendees, it's like, that's not their business. They don't want to have to plan for me. Maybe I should do something like I just don't promise coffee and then maybe I have it and I surprise people. Um, these are hard choices. I was talking to someone last night, Pratik. He's from Atlanta and he runs like 3 conferences and helps run a really big one. And he has different ideas, which was really great to like compare because he has a strong opinion about how to run a conference and what people are looking for and stuff like that. And he's running one here in New Orleans, and it's called JazzCon, and it's a it's a really awesome JavaScript conference, but it's all about you go there and there's snack in the morning, there's lunch, there's snack in the afternoon, there's a party, there's coffee all day. Those like I mean, I appreciate it when I'm there, like, oh, great, I don't have to leave. But um, I also feel like there's something missing from that. I just don't want to come off as cheap. It's like someone paid $400 and there's no coffee. Like, I can see someone complaining about that. But maybe I should just find a way to explain this. Just to explain, like, look, this is part of it. Is that you can go walk across the street, talk to somebody in the city, go with a friend. A group of you could go, have a coffee over there, and come back. And it's so close, right? That's part of it. Like it's ground. You're on the ground floor. You walk out a door, and you're in the French Quarter. The worst is when you don't expect the food and then it's there. Why? Because maybe you ate and then you're like, oh, I wasted that money, or I rushed to eat and it's all there's food. Same with coffee. Like you're carrying a cup of coffee that you got on the way there, and you get there and there's like plentiful coffee. I hate that. The surprise breakfast. No, I don't like that. Thank you. Like I already ate breakfast. If you had told me, I would have come ready for breakfast. But now there's like more breakfast now. So I don't want to do that. Um, what else is going on? My site is live. I've got my um, assistant doing transcripts of my older talks. So what he's doing is he's copying the YouTube automated transcripts, pasting them into a document, into the blog post, and cleaning it up because YouTube doesn't do a great job of putting punctuation in and stuff. Just want to make it readable. Want to make it, worthy of reading because a lot of people don't want to watch a video. Um, what else? The closure sync, personal branding. Yeah, I gotta start that YouTube channel of just functional programming stuff and also turn it into a podcast and transcripts. I need to make a list of topics because I'm thinking of them all the time. And I haven't done anything on purelyfunctional.tv. I need to button up that course and launch it. Okay, that's it. That's what I've been working on. I guess this hasn't been so interesting. Like, subscribe if you like this kind of, um, you know, off the cuff, just whatever is happening in my business life. Um, Subscribe, comment. I would love to answer questions. Any topics you have that you want me to talk about. Even thumbs down if you don't like it. That's fine too. Um, and yeah, I'll see you next time.